Good afternoon, Texans, and welcome back to the Texan Sports Minute. I'm Todd Coley, here to help you recap all the campus sports and national sports from around the country that has been going on the last week. Today on the show, we'll be looking at the Texan football team opening their season strong with a road win over a ranked opponent, the Texan golf team opening up strong as well, finishing second in San Angelo, the Texans losing only their second match of the season when it comes to volleyball, Adrian Peterson in hot water over disciplining his children, the NFL season rolling on as the Cowboys get to 1-1 on the season, Jonathan Papelbon being suspended for 7 games for a lewd gesture, and the Texas Rangers shockingly winning 4 in a row. Texan Sports' own Travis Smith is reporting about the Texans taking a big first step on their season with a 31-27 victory over West Texas A&M in Canyon last Saturday night. This marked the first time in 10 years the Texans were able to pick up a win in Canyon, and it was highlighted with a spectacular performance from Colin Strahan. The West Texas Buffaloes started the scoring with a career-long 48-yard field goal from their kicker, Connor Hollabaugh, and then they would intercept Tarleton down on the West Texas 11-yard line. On the Texans' next possession, however, they would find the end zone on a drive that was capped off by an 11-yard run by quarterback Eric Matthews. The run proved to be costly, however, because after the drive, Matthews was held out of the game with concussion-like symptoms. On the next drive, West Texas was able to answer Tarleton with a touchdown of their own to take a 10-7 lead, and at halftime, the teams would go in tied at 10 apiece. Tarleton would receive the ball in the second half, and the new quarterback for the Texans, Colin Strahan, was able to run it in from 11 yards out to give Tarleton the 17-10 lead. By the end of the third quarter, West Texas A&M had come out to a 20-17 lead, but the game was far from over. On the first play of the fourth, the Texans were able to score to put themselves down just 24-27, but the quarter was just beginning. After the Texans scored, the Buffaloes turned around and answered with a touchdown of their own in less than 90 seconds. The Texans would come back with a clock-winding 9-play, 75-yard drive and held a 31-27 lead that they would not let go of. The Buffaloes drove but were sacked on third down and had the lone punt of the quarter. The Texans turned to their run game to wind down the clock and came out of Canyon with the win. The Texans traveled to Arlington this Saturday to play in AT&T Stadium against Florida Tech at 5 p.m. And for other local campus sports news, we move to tarletonsports.com, which is reporting about the volleyball team losing only their second match of the season against Texas Women's University in Wisdom Gym Tuesday night. The Texans had a lead in the opening set and started 17-8 and cruised to a victory. In Game 2, the Texans were trailing early, but worked their way back to being down only 17-19, but by then the effort was too little too late. TWU went on a 6-2 run to close out the game, tying it at 1 match apiece. The third set was close all the way through and saw the teams tied at 16 before Kenya Alexander broke it open with a kill shot and then served up 7 straight points, giving the ladies a 22-16 victory. Fourth set saw the Texans committing errors after leading early. The Texans were outscored 24-11 after they started the game up 5-1. 14 of those 24 points that TWU scored on that run were off of the Texan errors. The Texans were not able to regain the momentum after that set and dropped the fifth by a score of 15-9, losing the match 3-2. This drops the Texans' record to 8-2 on the season and 3-1 in conference play. The Texans look to get back to their winning ways on Friday night at 6 p.m. in Wisdom Gym against Texas A&M Kingsville. The ladies' golf team is off to a hot start, seeing 2 of their players sharing the individual title for the tournament as the team finished second. The Texans shot 7 over par the first day of the tournament, but saw things unravel in the second day. The Texans wound up shooting 23 over in that second day and finished second overall in the Concho River Classic in San Angelo. It was their first tournament of the season. Isabel Jimenez Perea and Casey Wild were the Texans who finished as individual leaders for the tournament, shooting just 1 over for the tournament. Jimenez Perea shot an impressive 71 Monday and followed it up with a 74 on Tuesday. Casey Wild shot a 70 on Monday and followed that with a 75. The Texans now enjoy some time off before heading clear across the country to Sun River, Oregon to play in the Golf Week Fall Invitational. For national sports headlines, we turn to the Associated Press, who's reporting about Adrian Peterson cannot keep himself out of trouble. The Vikings reinstated the running back Monday and held a press conference about Peterson. Here's the video from the AP.
Good afternoon. As ownership said earlier, today's decision was made after extensive thought, discussion, and consideration. On Friday, there was a significant amount of uncertainty and information coming in. We felt it was best to step back, evaluate the situation, and keep Adrian out of the game this past weekend. Over the weekend, And early this morning, we gathered as much information as we possibly could. Had multiple conversations with Adrian's attorneys and met several times with Adrian personally. Based on all that, we made a decision that we felt was the right decision at this time. Based on the extensive information that we have right now and what we know about Adrian, not only as a person, but what he has also done for this community, we believe he deserves to play while the legal process plays out. At the same time, we must defer to the legal system to determine whether he went too far, but we cannot make that judgment.
You're playing
Again,
Adrian.
totally
Is this
different.
all about a game, winning a game?
It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the information that we have gathered.
The Rangers have decided to get hot at the end of the season when they trail the division leaders only by 35.5 games. The Rangers traveled to Oakland after sweeping the Braves and started the series impressively. Rangers had Jake Smolinski back in the lineup after a broken foot kept him out for nearly 2 months, and his presence was known. Smolinski hit his first career home run in the 4th inning to put the Rangers up 2-0, and afterwards Daniel Robertson singled. The Rangers were up 3-0 by then, and the A's wouldn't be able to catch up. Oakland had 2 errors in the game to go along with 2 wild pitches that the Rangers were able to capitalize on. The Rangers' starting pitcher Nick Tepish allowed 3 runs during 6 innings of work and beat the A's for the first time in his 6 chances. Now the race until the end of the season begins, as the Rangers have only 12 games remaining. They would rather not lose 100-plus games this season, and the Rangers currently sit at 58-92, so the task doesn't seem too daunting. The Rangers continue their series in Oakland tonight at 9 p.m. And also, another week in the NFL has passed us, and this time fans actually got to see the Cowboys win a game as they were dominant in Nashville, winning 26-10 against the Titans. The game saw DeMarco Murray rush for 167 yards and a touchdown, and also had Romo hooking up with Dez Bryant to throw a touchdown in his 30th consecutive game. Some surprises from Sunday included the Bears winning 28-20 over the 49ers in San Fran for the opening of the Niners' new stadium. The Chargers knocked off the defending Super Bowl champs Seattle Seahawks in San Diego Sunday, as Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates made it look like it was a game from 2006. Rivers threw for 284 yards and 3 touchdowns, all 3 of which Antonio Gates was the recipient. The Patriots already look to have forgotten about their Week 1 loss as they dominated the Vikings by a final score of 30-7. The absence of Adrian Peterson really showed for the Vikings, as they were only able to rush for 54 yards as a team. The Saints still sit winless after they traveled to Cleveland and lost to the Browns by a final score of 26-24, making the Saints now 0-2. Teams that start 0-2 have only a 12% chance of making the playoffs, so the Saints really have a hard road ahead of them to turn it around. Next week, the Cowboys will travel to St. Louis to take on the 1-1 Rams, but the game of the weekend is definitely the Super Bowl rematch between the Seahawks and Broncos. And also, the Phillies closer, Jonathan Papelbon, has been suspended for 7 games after doing what was considered a very lewd gesture by the MLB. Papelbon also bumped into an umpire he was arguing with. The closer said he would immediately serve the suspension and did regret bumping into the umpire. He also claimed, however, that his gesture was not intended toward the Phillies fans, as he was being booed off the field after giving up 4 runs in the 9th, but did say if it was perceived in that manner, he apologized. As always, Texan fans, go out to Legends Country Club Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. where there will be food and door prize giveaways, and the show will be broadcast on 90.5. It'll be Coach Fowler's weekly radio show. The next volleyball game for Tarleton will be Friday, September 19th against Kingsville at 6 p.m. in Wisdom Gym. The LSC Football Festival will be held this Saturday in Arlington, and there will be tailgating from 1 to 4 p.m. And you can find details about that at tarleton.edu/tailgate 2014. And of course, you can keep up with me at Tarleton News Sports for all the up-to-the-date stats during the game. And please check out my exclusive interviews in the links below with football players and coaches. Senior wide receiver Clifton Rhodes III and senior linebacker Marc Martinez were able to stop by and talk with us for a little bit, talking about their promising season. Thanks so much to super producer Bethany Kyle and Shelby Hilton for helping the ship sail so smoothly. Have a great week, Texans. I'm out.